this video, we'll be talking about the different officer roles in a Speakers League club. Normally, there are 3 different officer roles: President, Vice President, and Sergeant at Arms.
Being a club officer carries a number of responsibilities, and it's something that should not be taken lightly, nor should you run for office unless it is something you truly want to do.
As long as you've given at least 2 speeches, you may run for an officer position.
Why should you run for a club officer position? There are 3 main reasons.
The first is leadership. The officers have a chance to set the tone for the rest of their club with their professionalism, maturity, and ability to work with others. Skills that, if you don't necessarily already have them, you can work on developing while in office.
The second is service. You are part of a club, not a class, and members work together for the success of a club. Success of a Speakers League club means strong membership, well-run meetings, respect for and encouragement of all the members. Club officers, again, set the tone and can take much of the credit for a club success.
The third is to stretch your capabilities. It's not always easy to arrive early to get the meeting set up. It's not always easy to talk to someone you don't know. It's not always easy to stay on top of what happens next. And it's not always easy to get other club members to help out when you want them to. Club officers do all this and more.
Don't become a club officer if you're just looking for a title. Your club chairperson and other club members will see right through you. Instead, become an officer to go above and beyond what is comfortable and easy, and to demonstrate leadership and make yourself and your club even better.
Let's start with the President's role. Prior to the start of the meeting, the President should introduce himself or herself to any guest and determine with the Vice President who will be introducing the guest or guests to the rest of the club.
The President consults with the chairperson to get the meeting started as close to the starting time as possible. The President also handles opening and closing the meeting and making announcements usually provided by the chairperson. As a part of the announcements, the President makes sure any guests are introduced, reviews the schedule for the day, introduces the MC, and at the end of the meeting, briefly evaluates the overall meeting and reviews the schedule for the next meeting. The President also handles the completing of the meeting report form at the end of each meeting.
Finally, when necessary, the President backs up the Vice President and Sergeant at Arms.
Now let's talk about the Vice President. Before the meeting, the Vice President makes sure club promotional materials, if available, are put out for the members and guests, and posts any directional or other signs for the club. The Vice President's main role is greeting guests, if any, and getting them situated with a name card, pencil, voting slip, and a seat. During the body of the meeting, the Vice President also handles completing the meeting report form, which is turned in at the end of the meeting.
Guests should be introduced to and seated next to a current member who can help them as needed during the meeting. If another member but the guest, it is the Vice President's job to make sure that they have an introduction prepared.
If the guests found out about the club on their own, that is, there is not a member who specifically invited them and can introduce them, the Vice President should collect material for an introduction, including their name, age, city of residence, and how they found out about the club. Before the meeting starts, the Vice President shall let the President know who will be introducing the guests during the opening announcements.
At the end of the meeting, the President and Vice President should touch base with any guests, ask if they have any questions, and refer the family to the chairperson if they are interested in joining.
Finally, the Vice President is the first backup for the President when necessary.
Now to the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms is in charge of arriving sufficiently early to make sure that tables, chairs, and lectern are set up properly with the help of the members, with voting slips and pencils at each place. The evaluator, wordmaster, and timekeeper, etc. are responsible for getting their own materials, if necessary, from the supply box.
At the end of the meeting, the Sergeant at Arms coordinates the reset of the room and proper refiling of name cards, pencils, and other used supplies. The Sergeant at Arms is also the backup for the Vice President's role when necessary.
At the completion of the term, club officers will receive a special certificate. If they have done an exceptional job in the estimation of the club chairperson, they will receive a designation on their certificate of having served with distinction. Also, current and former officers will have their service noted on their name cards.
If you're interested in any officer position, prepare a 1-minute campaign speech to be given at the election meeting, along the lines of why I want to be your President, Vice President, or Sergeant at Arms.
While there is no minimum to the length of your campaign speech,
It will be timed with a disqualification ballot 1.5 minutes. Speaking order will be determined by drawing names from a hat.
On election day, here's how it usually works. We will first hear from the candidates for president. Then, take a vote and announce the winner. Then, we'll hear from candidates for vice president, take a vote and announce the winner. Then the same process for sergeant at arms. You can run for all 3 positions, but if elected for a particular position, you may not run for other positions during this election.
When there are more than 4 people running for a single position, we will have a vote for first choice and second choice. 3 points will be counted for first choice and 1 point for second. A chairperson and a disinterested adult or club mentor will count the votes.
Unless there are no others wanting the position, elected officers may not hold the same position for 2 consecutive terms.
We discourage electioneering. On election day and beforehand, we ask that you please refrain from distributing or displaying items such as posters or flyers, and please don't distribute gifts such as cookies. Because it is a speaking club, we prefer that the campaign speech and previous club professionalism be the deciding factor in a member's election.
Being a Speakers League club officer is a great experience and a chance to give back to your club. If you have any questions, just ask your club chairperson or club mentor.
Thanks for watching. You can find more training videos at speakersleague.com/video or on the Speakers League channel on YouTube.
The success of a club. Oh my gosh, you guys are rosy!
Dang it, I was distracted.
I'm sorry, I blanked. Hold on.
If they have...
This shouldn't be taken lightly, nor
And providing them with a pencil. The vice president's main role is
nor. It's like 1957.
The president consults with the chairperson. Nope. The president consults with the chairperson, handles opening and closing the meeting.
It's not always easy to and it's not always easy to help the other never get going wild.
For other positions during this election. Alright.
Add that one to the blooper reel.
Guests should be seated next